We're taking a live look at Helsinki, Finland. President Trump just arrived to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The historic summit running an hour behind, but they're meeting right now in private. Then they'll join advisors with the two. We'll have live coverage all morning long. Plus, right now, though, we're joined by Wright State political professor Lee Hanna. Lee, let's just talk about the implications of this. What kind of implications does it have on the world stage?
Sure. So Russia has really been ostracized from the world stage in a lot of ways, at least with the NATO countries that we, of course, saw last week after they annexed Crimea from Ukraine. And so for about 4 years, they've dealt with some pretty severe sanctions, and also they continue to hold this claim to Crimea. And so I believe Putin will try to, in some ways, he feels like he maybe has already won. That's how a lot of people put it, because there is some legitimacy by getting a sit-down one-on-one with the president in this type of format. But he may try to push for the U.S. and European allies to back off, both in Crimea and then also in eastern Syria.
Do you expect President Trump to bring up Russian election meddling?
That's the big question that that everybody's wondering. He has said that he will. He's kind of going back and forth related to the news on the Mueller indictment, going everywhere from kind of Democrats for not having good security to saying that this is, is problematic and something that he'll bring up to Putin. But how forceful he'll be with that and whether or not we'll really see any admission of guilt from Putin, I think that's pretty unlikely.
We heard in the news conference this morning that President Trump said he wanted to have an extraordinary relationship with Russia and Putin. Do you expect maybe a softer tone trying to develop that relationship?
I think we are going to see that, and it will be interesting to see what pressure he gets from European allies. They're going to be watching this closely. Moreover, many Americans are watching this closely, and especially members of Congress who, if you look at even members of the administration, like the head of Homeland Security, what they have said about Russia has been much harsher than what the president has said. So we are going to still, I think, see some continuing, real delineation between, different actors in American government, talking about how severe this is or not severe it is.
We've seen President Trump have a very friendly tone with Russia, with North Korea's leader, but we've seen him be kind of pushing back against our allies. Do you think that those relationships in the international community will have any impact here domestically?
Yeah, so I mean, we're certainly going to see it with trade policy, and as that rhetoric becomes hotter, that also gives some of these countries even more permission with their own constituents to maybe wage in some type of trade war as well. So I think we'll certainly see that moving forward. And I think when we look to NATO again, their security is really predicated on a strong partner in the United States, and many people say NATO was kind of created to keep Germany down, the U.S. in, and Russia out. Right now we have Russia seems to be more interested in getting in than ever, and the U.S. more interested in being out than ever. And so there is a big shift in kind of international relations that we're watching.
Do you anticipate any agreements to come out of this meeting?
I doubt we'll see anything really firm. I would be a bit surprised if made a huge kind of unilateral concession. Both are bound by some treaties. They are bound by their own parliaments or Congress in terms of what they can and cannot do. I think, unfortunately, we'll probably be talking more about optics than maybe any real substantive policy coming out.
Wright State political expert Lee Hanna joining us this morning. Thank you so much.